welcome to the Bill Mason Show. It's April the 7th, 2020. How you doing today, Bill?
I'm doing well. I'm a casual observer of life right now.
Oh, good. And we're all still quarantined.
Yeah. Lockdown. Many essential people are still venturing out into the workforce. That includes me.
Right.
But, just trying not to get the virus. That's all.
Right. Yeah. Well, the big deadly day today. A lot of people died today in the United States due to the virus. We're going to show all the figures of the people who died, how many people have the virus. We're going to show all that. We're going to show you a lot of videos tonight. We're going to show you hospital in New York, how they're doing. We're going to show you body bags in Ecuador again, new video. We're going to show you China, how they're opening back up again, how they're going to save the world. This is a Chinese virus. So a lot of stuff, and then we have a very cool looking video at the very end that's very funny. So some doom and gloom, and then we have some funny stuff at the very end.
There we go.
So let's take a look at the deaths today. So here we are. So United States, almost 2,000 deaths today, 1,913.
Wow.
France was second, 1,417. And then we have Spain, 704, and then Italy, 604. UK is 786. So a lot going on. We're at 400,000 people infected right now. That's confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of wondered how they get those numbers, because I know people that have been tested and they told them that they're negative, and they still feel symptoms 2 days later and they get tested again. So I don't know. I am unsure if I even trust the confirmed case ratio.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying this is very underreporting. Even the deaths are underreporting too as well.
Yeah, I also heard about that, where, if somebody gets sent home with pneumonia and passes away, they're not counted in the death toll.
Yeah, if they don't get tested after that they die, they're not part of the death toll. So it's
right.
Anyway, so this is definitely underreported. Of course, China, 200,000 deaths, or
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been saying that forever.
Yep, flat out lies and propaganda.
Exactly. So here's state by state. We have New York leading the pack, 731 deaths today. New Jersey, 229. Michigan, 119. Massachusetts and Georgia, 119 deaths today.
Really?
Yeah, they said that was from some people that died previously.
Okay.
But 119, and coming in close after that, Massachusetts with 96.
Okay. And still California is not, I guess, what they expected. They expected California to be in the thousands every day.
Yeah, I mean, they had over 1,000 people positive today, but they only have 50 deaths today. So
right.
They're on the down low right now.
Okay.
Hopefully they won't explode.
Right.
So let's take a look at the Brooklyn Hospital in New York and see what's going on there, okay?
All right.
This is life inside an intensive care unit in Brooklyn, New York. Our partner network in the US, CBS, were allowed in, and everything about it seems frantic and on the edge.
This gentleman right here is a patient that really didn't have much underlying conditions, has developed severe respiratory failure as well as kidney damage from the virus.
Though the administration says there's no shortage of personal protective equipment, the reality is otherwise.
I'd like a mask like yours. I'd like all of us to have masks like yours. And these white suits like you have, and I have on, what do I have on? What is this?
What is that?
What is it?
It looks like a garbage bag.
Yeah, this is a garbage bag. It is a garbage bag.
This patient needs to have his breathing tube changed over. And look how much equipment it takes to keep one patient alive. The critical care doctor puts on ski goggles to carry out the procedure.
It's very, very difficult. It's like something out of the Twilight Zone. And I don't think any of us going through it will ever be the same.
Where New York is right now, other states and cities like Washington, D.C. are forecast to follow in the coming days and weeks. Donald Trump says there's light at the end of the tunnel. There may be in the worst hit areas, but for much of America, the darkness is yet to come.
This is going to be the hardest and the saddest week of most Americans' lives, quite frankly. This is going to be our Pearl Harbor moment, our 9/11 moment, only it's not going to be localized. It's going to be happening all over the country.
Meanwhile, in New York, they're struggling to manage the sheer number of deaths. Refrigerated lorries have become makeshift morgues, and a senior health official has warned that burials may have to start taking place in public parks. John Sopel, BBC News, Washington.
There you have it. So that's what's going on with New York. It's not looking good. Hopefully, it's on a downward turn from the graph. It's going down lower. Hopefully, we'll see. Where do you think, Bill? You think it's going to turn into a point right now where it's going to go downward, or you think it's going to go up?
I can only imagine that they're doing everything they can, but to me, it looks like it's going to go up. They made a couple of errors. I mean, they were pushing people that were supposed to go to the Javits Center, and they put them on the Comfort.
Right.
And then they put coronavirus people on the Comfort, and now there's I think he's a nurse that tested positive, definitely, and now 3 more people on the Comfort are being tested. Mm-hmm. So that could get weird. If the people who are supposed to be there for help all of a sudden get, you know how boats are, it's crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think New York is really handling it that well. I think it's just they're lucky that it's dropping down a little bit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that ship can be loaded with the virus pretty soon. I mean,
right.
They're not supposed to have anything there, but they reversed their decision, and they decided to take some COVID patients.
Yeah, because I guess they figured they would just split the ship in half and do a 50-50. But, I mean, I don't know. It seems that there's a management. I know the Army is running the Javits, and the Navy is running the Comfort. And then, Cuomo is heavily involved. And it seems like a lot of chiefs, a lot of room for my decision over yours type of stuff, and who knows where that goes.
Yeah, too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So let's talk about Dr. Fauci. So what do you think about Dr. Fauci, by the way, Bill?
I keep going back and forth. There's some times where I think, thank God he's in there, and he seems really, really informed, and always says kind of like what you want to hear. And then I went back and saw that he's really changed his tune several times. And I'm not really sure what team he's on at this point. I'm really not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you awfully to him. So, I mean, I thought I liked him, but then you showed me this video, which we're about to play.
Yeah.
And this is exactly when we called the pandemic back then in January.
Right.
No one else was talking about it, only us. We called the pandemic back then. It wasn't the United States. So let's take a look and see what he said back then, okay?
Yeah.
Bottom line, we don't have to worry about this one, right?
Well, obviously you need to take it seriously and do the kinds of things that the CDC and the Department of Homeland Security are doing. But this is not a major threat for the people in the United States, and this is not something that the citizens of the United States right now should be worried about.
There you go. So that was back in January 21st of this year. Said there's nothing we need to worry about.
Yeah, and the sad part is that these, medical professionals. So you have the Democrats that are like, I get most of my reactions from Twitter, but they say, oh, Trump's not listening to the medical professionals and the scientists. Well, everything he has been doing is kind of deferring to these people, and they keep changing. They changed on whether we should worry about it. They changed on the masks. They changed on the social distancing went from 3 feet to 6 feet to 10 feet. I mean, they keep moving the goalpost, and they have Trump as kind of like this sacrificial lamb who's a decision maker. who basically will take the fall no matter what happens.
Right.
I mean, if he miraculously comes under, only 100,000 people died from coronavirus. Well, they said 250. It'll still be, 100,000 people died under Trump. I mean, they're going to find a way to stick this to him, like they found a way to get him to shut down the economy. You know, I listening to Rush today, talking about the wide sweeping stay-at-home orders, and there are states that have it totally contained into one area of one county, and they don't need to shut their entire state down. Montana can handle Montana, so I mean, I don't agree with the giant swath of everybody's got to stay home. If there's plenty of space in Montana for those people to go to the mall, then that's what they want to do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, certain states can open because it's not as bad as a problem as
Right.
it is in other states. So I agree with that. So now we have Dr. Fauci. This reporter was really giving it to Trump, and Trump, hit back. But Dr. Fauci gave a little symbol as he was walking out. Let's take a look and see what he did, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so he gave a little shooting sign to this reporter,
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, that's okay. You did a good job."
I mean, it's kind of like starting to think, man, what team is he on? I'm not saying, the verdict is already in, but I see pictures of him from 10 years ago at dinners with George Soros. I see him, everybody goes, with Bill Gates, and even Bill Gates' father. And then people in the defense of that say, well, he has been, through 5 presidents. And it's starting to make me think that, man, we have deep state in the medical facade of this country too. That's what it's making me think. And he's like, in that first video, he's like, well, we just defer to the CDC and, the NIH, and we do that, and nothing to worry about. This is America, blah, blah, blah. And then 2 weeks later, he's switching gears, changing his tune, and he seems to like it when the press goes after Trump with medical questions.
Right.
Which, is that really his forte? No. The whole time he's deferred to these medical experts, and it seems like Fauci really gets a charge out of this. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm still on the block. I mean, there's conspiracy theories that he's trying to force the whole nation to be under lockdown so to become a depression under Trump to make him lose. So there's some conspiracy theories going on right now.
Well, I read a tweet from what was his name? His former colleague that worked with him or something, and said he's not going to fully tell people that it's okay to go back outside until there's a vaccine. And I'm like, that's crazy, because how long do vaccines take? I mean, if they get this one ready in a month like they're talking about, that is so fishy, man. I don't trust it. I'm sorry. They either already had this vaccine or something is up. I mean, we still don't have vaccines for H1N1 and for all these other ones. How the hell did they just whip out a coronavirus one out of their back pocket?
Yeah, I mean, they're still working on 12 of them. Johnson & Johnson looks like is looking pretty good, the vaccine. Supposedly, Trump sent some vaccines over to Boris Johnson in the UK for the doctors to try it on him.
Yeah, because he's getting oxygen. They won't say whether he's on ventilator, but they say he's getting oxygen. He's in intensive care.
Right. Yeah. So Trump said they had everything that he needs there. We sent some things to him. So supposedly he sent the vaccine to the doctors there. So we'll see what happens. So moving on. I mean, we have China saying that they're in the world where they're the savior of the world, because
picture that.
Yeah, they sent supplies to 83 countries, they say, and of course we got the virus from China, so it's kind of weird. So let's take a look at this video, how China's saving the world.
Yeah.
In many movies, one single American can save the world. However, in reality, when the mankind facing a big crisis, it is China who stands out and saves the world. Up to now, we have helped 82 countries and organizations worldwide. Among them, some are our old friends, but some are not so friendly to us before. But still, we decided to stretch out our helping hands to all of them, despite the fact that we are recovering from the epidemic ourselves. Because for many of these countries, China is their last and only hope. Without the help from China, they probably will never be able to survive this pandemic. So that's why we say, today's China is more than the country itself. It is very much part of Asia as well as the world.
Well, there we are. So China is the only hope of the world.
What a propaganda machine. Honestly, that is such nonsense, because there are people that are sending back hospital gowns and masks because they're defective. Mm-hmm. There are people sending back, those infrared thermometers that they're supposed to take your temperature.
Right.
They're putting it on all different surfaces, and this one guy puts it on his stovetop, which is like extremely hot, and it still says the same reading, 37. Which I know they deal in different than us. We're Celsius, the whole nine, but they're sending us fake thermometers. It's almost like this is a joke. They're sending masks that have really, really thin layers, and gowns that tear when you put them on, gloves that are defective. This is like, come on, man.
Right. Yeah. A lot of countries have sent their product back because it just does not work.
Yeah. So what? They exported to, I don't care if it's 150 countries. If you're getting returns because your stuff's crap, what's the point? This is people are counting on life-saving PPE, personal protection equipment, and I think it was Switzerland or maybe Finland, something like that. They had to send the entire order back. It was like $500,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah, so did Spain. We even sent some things back too, because
it's garbage.
Tearing up. It's bad.
It's garbage.
It's very, very, very bad. So since China has recovered supposedly, but they're ordering body bags. Let's take a look at this video.
Yeah.
China is ordering large quantities of body bags from Taiwan. That's according to a Taiwanese funeral home director. He's recently received urgent orders of 100 to 200,000 body bags. The last time he saw orders this big was after the South China Sea tsunami.
能不能够给我10万个、15万个，然后甚至那根最高还有跟我讲20万个。
This comes as more and more countries question China's numbers. Taiwanese senior media person Zhang Hongyi found out that some Taiwanese funeral operators are producing an alarming number of body bags for China.
All right, there we have. So Taiwan is purchasing, China is purchasing body bags from Taiwan, around 200,000 of them. So if the virus is over, why are they buying large quantities of body bags?
I mean, honestly, I've seen if there's going to be a second wave, it's going to happen there again, because they have this holiday. So, we've talked about China before. They celebrate their New Year. It's one of their only sanctioned holidays. And then they have this other one that's coming up. Can't remember the name of it, but I got the gist of it. It's where you honor your dead. And you go to where your ashes are, they're entombed, and you light incense, and you reminisce about them and all that stuff. And there was truck drivers that said that they were leaving with 2,500 urns of ashes for weeks, every day for weeks. I mean, where do those numbers come in? It just doesn't add up, man.
It doesn't.
No.
Well, we're going to show another Chinese video. This is going to open. This is having a light show there tonight, actually.
Oh, nice.
A light show tonight, and the light show is for the reopening of Wuhan, the reopening of the lockdown, easing the lockdown. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah.
So there you have it. So tonight, or whenever it was last night, they had a light show in Wuhan celebrating the ending of the lockdown.
I don't know. It's all for appearances, if you ask me, because I've seen contrary videos of people protesting that they got swindled out of the money that they were supposed to get, that was supposed to help them, pay for food and their bills and all that stuff, and they're protesting in the street, with people saying that their leaders embezzled the money, and then there's riots on the bridges because they won't let them actually leave Wuhan to go back to work if you worked in a neighboring town. So I don't know if that's even real. It's all for cameras and show.
It is. I mean, it's a propaganda machine. They're trying to show the world it's all over for them.
Definitely.
So we do have a new video of Ecuador. We talked about Ecuador last week.
Yeah. Bad shape.
Yeah, the hospitals collapsed. The morgues collapsed. They're all in the streets. They're burning the bodies.
Yeah. No ambulances. Nothing.
Total disaster. So we have another video I wanted to show you. So here we go. There's refrigerator trucks lined up with dead bodies.
I'm surprised they have refrigerator trucks. I mean, man, talk about bare bones, like, unreal.
Very sad. So there you go. So very sad to see all those dead bodies. We also have Peru military going to the border of Ecuador. They don't want anybody from Ecuador coming in Peru.
And you know what's funny? Before you play this, it's like all these countries that talked about how bad it was to enforce a border, like for us to enforce our southern border, as soon as something gets really bad and you want to protect your people, all of a sudden you shut the border down. That's what you do.
Right. That's why borders are there.
Right.
So here we go. Let's take a look at this video. So we got Peru sending in tanks to the border, armored vehicles. So there we go. So we had the army mobilizing at the border of Ecuador, making sure no one gets through.
Yep.
They saw the carnage over there, so they don't want anybody in Peru from Ecuador.
No, they may have a small amount, but I mean, some of those borders, the borders that are near roads and the borders that are near, a place where you can enforce, sure, you could pull that move, but I mean, there's a lot of jungle, man. It's just what a task that's going to be for them.
It is. All right, so we have John Voight today, showing a glimmer of hope that we will rise again. It's a very
Love
inspirational.
John.
Yes. And let's take a look and see what he said.
All right.
Let go. Now, rise. For this is a day of prayer. This shall override. This shall find a place in history that will be only a memory of caused destruction. These limited fools have nowhere to hide a shallow course of magnitude that tried to wipe out civilization. And only one, God, can. and he shall not obey such disgust volume, for God's only meaning is life. He shall condemn the wrong, and shall gift the right, and he will bring volume to God's creation, his creation. His only means is to repair, and he shall not back down to his duties of his call. Stand with us now, for we all bring this mighty light upon the earth, his love, to reach each and every one. And through this fear that all may fear, fear not, because Jesus, Moses, all the saints, prophets of ancient times, all the scriptures written for Hinduism, Judaism, Christianity, all have been with America, for America. She is the land of freedom. She holds her sign, her torch, for all to remember what she stands for. That is God's freedom, our truths, and God's beam of his glow to show each one that we will prevail, we will win, no matter the pain, the loss, because each one, each soul, is gifted a flicker of hope, for he shines with each. So we hold all dear, and we give this nation, all nations, a push through this dark, for he has said, let there be light. And on this day we salute President Trump and his team, and we bless these men and women with our unconditional love and prayers, for they have guided our nation under God. Amen.
All right, there you go. So John Voight, very inspirational speech there. So anyway, so I know you like John Voight. He's a big Trump supporter.
Yeah, he got put on the board of the Kennedy Center. That was a real Trump move. As soon as he found out that they were getting some pork money, he was like, "I'm going to put Voight in charge of that."
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
All right. So another thing going on today, we talked about this before, the captain of the Theodore Roosevelt aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
We have a video of that episode again, so we can show it. All the sailors were saluting him. Let's take a look at that, and then we're going to see what happens after that. So take a look.
Yep.
So there he is. All the sailors were saluting him, chanting his name, wanting him to, get off the ship and be proud of him. So he sent a memo. If anybody doesn't know what's going on, sent a memo out saying his sailors were being sick because of the COVID-19. He needed more help. So the Navy fired him, and so what happened next was the Secretary of Navy put his resignation in because he said something. Did you take a look at that, Bill? Did you see that?
Yeah, I looked pretty deep into it. So the reason the chain of command was brought up is because he included people, he CC'd people in that email that were not in the chain of command, and they leaked it to the San Francisco Chronicle, a newspaper. So that is something that could be very detrimental to the Navy if say an enemy, say North Korea. Okay, so they're off the coast of Guam. North Korea finds out we have an aircraft carrier where 50% of these guys are sick. Okay, that puts us in a really strange place.
Exactly.
Now, when he went to Guam, he wanted to, of course, offload his sick. Now, Guam is an island about 155,000 people. They have 2 hospitals on the whole island, each with about 180 beds. Okay, they can't handle a 3,000-man aircraft carrier. They can't handle half of it. So the request that he sent was really worded in almost like a demand. And I understand why his soldiers wanted to back him, and they wanted to say, hey, thanks for sticking up for us. But I also understand the Navy's standpoint, and like, dude, you leaked it to a San Francisco newspaper, and we got North Korea that hates us. They find out that we have a ship full of half-sick sailors, and they attack us. Like, you got to keep it under wraps, man.
Well, on top of that, he went to the port in Vietnam. He let some sailors out. That's how they even got COVID-19.
Right. And that's I also looked into that. You know, guys, in a time like this, who cares? You got shore leave coming? Sorry, man, not a good idea.
Right. I mean, it was blazing over there in China, so why he let them go on Vietnam shore leave, I had no idea.
Right. So there was a couple of errors on his part. Now, why, you know, there were further resignations? I think Trump maybe rattled a tree, because I think he's getting more and more, he's fallen into this, I got so much wrong going on around me that I can't control. Let me try to do something right with something I can control. And I don't think that's necessarily, you know, the right answer or whatever. But, I mean, okay, so maybe he shook a few trees and guys started resigning. It still doesn't fix the fact that these Navy ships are a breeding ground for anything, any kind of sickness. I mean, from smallpox to herpes. I mean, whatever it is.
It is.
So, you know, this isn't something that we didn't know about. So really the error in judgment was a twofold thing where he let sailors off during a pandemic and then, you know, cried for help and leaked it to a newspaper. It's just bad.
Yeah, I mean, the Secretary of Navy called him stupid and naive. We have a recording of that. So that's the reason why the Secretary of Navy resigned. Let's take a look and see what he said.
All right.
We live in, and he was A, too naive or too stupid to be the commanding officer of a ship like this. He also...
So there's what he said. So he says too stupid or naive to run a aircraft carrier because of what he did.
Right.
And then the sailors heard that, so they were complaining in the background.
Oh, I'm sure. And I'm sure they love that guy. I mean, you know, you spend enough time on the open sea with the guy who makes you feel good, and I'm sure you got his back. Right. But there definitely were some errors in judgment, and you're in charge of 3,000 people, man. Right. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. So where this is going to end up, I have no idea. It looks like Trump's going to be involved.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be involved, but now he's probably going to have to.
No, like I said, he's got so much on fire around him that he can't put out, and he has this little fire over here that maybe he pats a few heads and looks, you know, like a little better for a minute in the media, because the media is going to roast him no matter how he reacts to this. Yeah. If he says nothing, they're going to say, how dare you let them fire a Navy, you know what I mean, a commander. And then if he does something, they're going to be like, you shouldn't stick your nose in the business of the Navy. I mean, literally, it doesn't matter what the man does.
Right. Yeah,
it's good. Right. It's gonna turn out into media scrutiny.
Yeah. Well, we have a little funny video tonight about Trump, and so we're going to play this. It's very comical. It has James Woods in it. Just take a look.
All right.
I'm Father McFeely.
I'm so glad you're here.
I came as fast as I could.
It's okay, I understand.
No, 'cause in the old days. How is she?
It's gotten worse, Father.
Really?
He won't work. He won't bathe.
The child won't even let me touch her.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to give them candy.
Father, the church sent me to assist you. I'm Father Harris.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Would you like to see the girl?
Fuck this.
Fuck. Did you see this? Look at this. Father, think of the child.
Let us pray. Father in heaven, defender of the human race, Look down in pity upon this, your servant.
Hillary's my president. You didn't win the popular vote. You won that racist electoral college thingy. Fake priest, you fake president.
Hallowed be thy name.
America has never been great.
Thy kingdom come.
America sucks.
Shit. Suck on this.
Oh no.
Exorcisms. That might be the only way to get rid of TDS.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So that's the show tonight. We'll be on again on this coming
Thursday.
Thursday. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so, do you have any last words, Bill?
No, I just hope that this curve does get flattened, because I want everybody to get back to business. I mean, this is so damaging to the economy. I just see so much going on locally, just my small area. Mm-hmm. The impact that it's having, I can't imagine the impact that it's having globally. It's going to be such a ripple effect. It's going to take us a year to recover from this. I just hope that we do pull out from this.
I do too. And another thing too, just to let you know, I mean, I know some small business owners, and there's gym memberships, there's spa memberships, there's all kind of different memberships out there, and the credit card companies are freezing their assets. They're freezing the membership. So that's the reason why gym memberships won't charge you the monthly fee, because of course they're closed anyway. But,
right.
None of these, because they won't take their membership money anyway, the credit card companies. So anyway, so it's a total disaster. So hopefully we'll get back to work, and everything will be fine. They'll find a vaccine and we can go back the way we were before. We'll see what happens. We're predicting that's going to last for a long time unless there's a vaccine. Probably till the end of August, maybe longer. Hopefully that's not the case, but we need to get back to work. And I wouldn't mind eating in a restaurant again.
Yeah, man, there's so much that I miss. I can't believe it. Like, you don't realize it till it's taken from you. Right. Just the little things. I mean, I want to go to the damn shooting range. I mean, they're all closed. It's terrible.
Yeah, you can't play basketball. Can't do anything. So anyway, terrible. I appreciate you watching tonight. Make sure you subscribe, and we will see you in a couple of days.
Yep, Thursday.
All right.
Bye.
Did you see the other day that Hillary was giving Trump some advice?
She loves to do it on Twitter. I didn't see any videos of it though.
No, she did it on Twitter. You saw the same thing.
Yeah. And then, I also sent you something. We could use it at any time we want to rip on Hillary. Like the reason that Julian Assange is in so much trouble. It's a Rupley interview that never got aired.
Okay, yeah, we'll play the next show.
Yeah, if you want to watch that. I mean, I know it's old news, but he's talking about in 2016 that Hillary is funded by the same sheiks in Saudi Arabia that fund ISIS.
Wow.
And he was like, I couldn't believe it, so I had to double check it. And it's true. I was like, whoa. No wonder